So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you to Deutsche Telekom for hosting us at this wonderful event. So as was introduced, my name is Ben Gray. I'm a product marketing manager at Applause. I'm still relatively new to the Applause team. I joined the company about 6 months ago. But prior to joining Applause, I served as a principal analyst with Forrester Research for a little more than a decade. So I spent more than 10 years at Forrester covering a lot of technology domains. Mostly it's related to enterprise mobility. So I looked at the platform wars. I looked at the challenges around managing and securing mobile devices. I looked at personalization and the consumerization's impact on your mobility strategy. And one of the things that really attracted me to Applause is fundamentally Applause's customers are at the forefront of emerging technology. You know, we've heard throughout the day about mobile applications, iOS and Android and BlackBerry and Windows Phone. We've heard about wearables. We've heard about in-car applications. We've heard about the Internet of Things. And really, this is what Applause is all about. We are all about ensuring your mobile apps delight your users and beat the competition. And I'm also particularly thrilled to be here in Germany this week because, of course, Germany and the United States are competing against each other on Thursday in the World Cup. So one very kind request, please take it easy on us on Thursday. We're going to need your help to get past the next round. Okay, so I'll keep it relatively light today, but fundamentally, apps are at the front door to your business. We're seeing so many organizations investing heavily in mobile applications beyond just iOS and Android and other multi-platform discussions. We're also seeing the pace as they're developing these applications only continue to accelerate. And your apps have to do more than just, perform functionally as your users would expect. They have to be able to stand up to heavy use. They have to be able to inform or ensure security and privacy of your content and your personal information. And fundamentally, they have to delight your users because users have incredibly lofty expectations of their mobile and digital experiences. Gone are the days where organizations could have departmental silos of which IT might care a lot about the security and load or performance of your application, whereas your chief marketing officer, your line of business managers might care more about localization or the usability and the overall user experience. Fundamentally, users have really lofty expectations, and if your app falls short of those expectations, they're going to uninstall it. And another reason this is so incredibly important is because users are so vocal today, especially the younger generation that grew up in constant collaboration with their friends and family. They grew up in the age of smartphones and digital home applications and social media. So whether they're delighted or whether they hate your application and they're pissed off about their experience, they're going to be incredibly vocal about it through Twitter, through Facebook, through other social networks, through peer-to-peer, face-to-face interactions as well. So there are 5 reasons why app quality is so incredibly important today. So first of all, the apps economy is incredibly competitive. Housed within the app stores alone are well more than 2 million mobile applications. Across Apple's App Store for iOS, more than 1 million applications. Another more than 1 million applications across Google Play for Android. So there are hundreds, if not hundreds of thousands of applications that individually you're competing with within your App Store category. Also, the switching costs are at or near zero. So if a user would install your application and if it crashes on the first load or if they're having trouble logging in with their personal information, not only are they going to be soured by that experience, but they're going to actively remove or uninstall it or just let it reside on their device, never to be touched again. Not only that, but they're going to be frustrated about their experience. They're going to tweet about it. They're going to be really vocal about it. And so they're going to actively encourage their friends, their family, their coworkers to not install your application. But worst of all, they're going to actively search for your competitors' applications. So switching costs are at or near zero, and through the App Store channels, now users have the freedom to install whatever applications they desire. Another big challenge facing especially large enterprise, even small to medium shops, is device fragmentation. We've heard about the challenges today a little bit But here's just a snapshot of what it looked like almost a year ago. This is approximately 11 months ago. This is a snapshot from OpenSignal, which comes out with an annual report on the state of Android fragmentation. So I know it's a lot to consume, but at the highest level here, let's take a quarter of the graphic. If you take a quarter of the Android landscape, and if you're developing a mobile application, you want to test it against just the top quarter of the Android devices that are on the market last year, you could go ahead and purchase those 12 devices and be covered for those 12 devices. And that's pretty reasonable. Certainly a large enterprise can afford, 12 devices, not just the cost of the hardware, but the maintenance and the voice and data services, et cetera. But if you want to scale that to another 25% of the Android market, you'd have to go ahead and purchase more than 60 other devices. If you want to develop and test your Android app against the other quarter, you have to buy, I think, something north of 600 devices. And if you want to target the other quarter, the last 100% of the Android landscape, you'd have to purchase something north of 10,000 distinct Android devices. It's simply not sustainable for companies to continue to scale out their internal development and testing shops, which is why fundamentally organizations need a new approach. And it's not just mobile. I mean, we've heard throughout the day today, it's more than just mobile. Don't get me wrong, UTest, now Applause, was born in an era of web and desktop testing. But now a lot of our companies know us as a mobile testing company, but we're thinking even beyond mobile. We're looking at wearables. In fact, a lot of the leading wearables vendors in the landscape today are Applause customers. We're looking at in-car applications. So BMW, for example, comes to us when they need to be able to test not just how their mobile app performs in their car, but also how it interacts with various iPhone and Android devices all around the world. We're looking at digital home applications, smart cars, smart TVs, home automation. We're looking at the Internet of Things. So fundamentally, we're at an inflection point. And we've heard a lot about it today, where companies are increasingly vocal in these interconnected and mobile experiences. And it's only the pace at which organizations are now developing to these experiences is only continuing to accelerate. And the speed is another area in which organizations are really caught flat-footed often. They've shifted clearly from a waterfall method where they're launching, 1 or 2 major iterations a year, or maybe a couple months, or maybe a couple weeks. Now they're doing it every, multiple times a week. We've seen organizations embrace agile. We've seen organizations embrace continuous development and testing. And the speed at which organizations need to be able to respond, and QA departments need to be able to respond to these development and testing challenges, is just staggering. And it often, Carl, who's a local sales rep here, was kind enough to provide some localization testing for my presentation just last week, and he made it a point to call it the fact that, look, in my slides I had American miles per hour speed limits, and this pace is really pretty representative of having, a U.S. citizen now coming to Germany where, they can travel on the Autobahn with, unlimited speed. So, we are seeing organizations realize that it's really difficult to keep pace with these challenges. And fundamentally, we often ask our customers and prospects, are you prepared? And more often than not, the answer is no, and that's okay, because companies realize they need a new approach, and they need to turn to third-party vendors to be able to scale effectively. So just to quickly introduce my company and Applause. So Applause is an app quality company. We are headquartered just outside of Boston, but we have a headquarters based on our acquisition of Test Hub just within the last month or so in Berlin, so not too far from here. We are an app quality company that specializes in the wild software testing, as well as app quality solutions. So our in the wild testing services span the entire app lifecycle, include functional, usability, load, localization, and security. Our app quality solutions span anything from a mobile SDK that closes a feedback loop amongst your app developers, your testers, and your users. We also have a web analytics tool that crawls all the most popular mobile app stores that provides you with that actionable insight and intelligence in terms of how your apps are actually perceived by real-world users. And all of this rolls up into our, what we call our 360-degree app quality dashboard, which is that single pane of glass into not just the status of your testing services with applause, but the overall health of your applications. So we're a relatively, small company. We were founded in 2007. We hit GA in 2008. We've closed now, I think, 5 rounds of investment, including the latest round by Goldman Sachs. We've won lots and lots of awards. A lot of folks around the office say we test software during the day and we win hardware at night. But Forbes named us the 7th most promising company in America just within the last 2 months. So some quick stats on applause. We now boast well more than 2,500 recurring customers, annual recurring customers. Our web analytics tool has crawled more than 100 million user reviews within the app stores. We've built a global community of more than 140,000 professional testers. These folks average 6 to 7 years of QA and software testing experience and are available as organizations need to flexibly scale their testing to the real world or in the wild. We've also tested over the span of our 7+ years of existence more than 40,000 builds. Across these 40,000 builds, we have now reported back to our customers more than 1 million bugs and issues provided by our in-the-wild software testers. Now, maybe it's the former startup culture, but you gotta have the logo slide. In fact, I think we have 2. So we serve all industries. We specialize not in any one or the other, but we're especially strong in retail, media, and travel, and social, in telecom, and many more. Some of the world's largest brands like Google, Amazon, Netflix, Walmart, Starbucks, all turn to us for their app quality testing services and app quality tools. Deutsche Telekom is another major customer of ours as well. So we're especially strong here in Germany and in the UK, and even stronger after the Test Hub acquisition. But as you can see, really large brands like Microsoft and Skype and Verizon and King.com, makers of Candy Crush, turn to us for their app quality testing services. So this is important, app quality, because fundamentally users don't compartmentalize app quality. I don't know if there are any movie buffs in the audience today, but just watching the Oscars a couple months back when Ellen DeGeneres tweeted a photo or a selfie of her and who was in it, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Lawrence and all these major industry luminaries, and she tweeted it, and Twitter crashed because people retweeted that selfie, I think something like 3 million times over the span of under 2 hours. So it turns out Twitter breaks after you retweet a photo to that scale so quickly. And so for users that were using Twitter for perhaps more legitimate reasons, they're not going to be left with the experience of, oh, Twitter's under a heavy load because the Oscars are on. No, they're going to think Twitter app sucks, and they're going to actively search for a competitor app. So fundamentally, users don't compartmentalize app quality, and nor should you. Winning apps, those that win revenue, those that win users, those that win, customer loyalty, are those that don't either. So we're helping companies, small and large, across all industries, raise the bar for app quality. We're calling it 360-degree app quality, but it's effectively app quality as defined by your users. So leveraging our global community of more than 140,000 professional testers, you can actually scale up your software testing. So all of your efforts that you do in internal testing and software development and QA, your internal lab of devices, if you need to scale that out to real-world testers, you can do it by leveraging our global community. And it spans the entire app lifecycle. So whether it's a pre-production app, that isn't yet available for market, that there's a known list of bugs, but in the meantime you want an independent perspective, you can do that. Or whether it's a production environment where you've launched a mobile app, but you don't have great visibility into how users are responding to it or what sort of feedback they have. Sure, you have access to the raw data within the app stores, but you're struggling to actually make sense of it or tease out the analytics. Then we can do that through our 360-degree app quality. So starting within the wild testing services, we help organizations scale their testing beyond their internal lab to the real world. So whether that testing done is traditionally been done in-house or by offshore companies, we think that's great. We think that should continue forward. But at the same time, we help companies scale that out up or down as necessary. We help organizations provide coverage across literally any device you could ever dream of. Whether it's a device, whether it's an application stack, whether it's AV agent, whether it's a psychographic, firmographic, or demographic information that you need to be able to match your target users or your actual users against our global community, then we can do that. eBay, for example, is one of our big customers. They came to us, I think, on a Thursday evening and said, hey, we're thinking about launching this new mobile app in Russia. And so if you don't mind, we'd like for you to pull together 20 or 30 something testers in Moscow, have them come to this massive mall in Moscow and test our eBay mobile app using the Wi-Fi that resides within the mall. And so we did that. We did that over the weekend so that when the eBay team came back on Monday morning, they'd actually have reviews and an independent perspective on how their app was actually perceived. As it turns out, their app wasn't quite ready for the mainstream because when our testers launched the app, they loved it, but at the same time, every single time it disconnected from the spotty Wi-Fi coverage, it would crash the app. And so based on that feedback, eBay realized, look, our app isn't quite ready for prime time, but it's that quick scale up or scale down that organizations, especially large enterprises, can really benefit. It's community driven and it's a fully managed end-to-end experience. So especially leveraging our project managers, our test team leads, they have complete experience in pulling together custom teams that match your demographics and profiles. So as I've mentioned, we offer a range of testing services from functional, does the app perform as a user might expect, to usability, does it leave users wanting to come back for more? Is it intuitive that users want to come back for more? Localization testing, we offer this global community of professional testers that live and speak native tongue, live within these countries, and have QA and software testing experience to be able to provide and identify any potential cultural missteps. And not just identify them and report back to you, but actually have them verified by other in-country natives, so that all the information we're providing to you, we can deliver to you with confidence. Load testing as well. We've seen a lot of organizations shifting their sort of level of expectations as they're developing their apps. So not only are they having to come out with a kick-ass application, if I can follow the lead of some other presenters and swear a little bit, but also be able to make sure that that app can scale out across, under a heavy load, leveraging a cloud-hosted platform. Security testing as well. We have security experts, we have performance experts, that live and breathe security testing and load testing to be able to spin up test cycles, to be able to, conduct manual penetration tests, to be able to, pull up security vulnerabilities based on the OWASP Top 10 and NIST standards. We also offer a range of testing tools as well. So whether it's a mobile SDK that's cross-platform, supports iOS and Android and Windows Phone and Unity. This helps close the feedback loop amongst your app testers, your developers, and your users. So whether it's a pre-production or production environment, users can report back bugs and crashes back to your development team so that they can improve the quality of the app. We also offer a web analytics tool called Applause Analytics that crawls the most popular mobile app stores and provides you with that, actionable insight in terms of what users love or what they hate about their digital experiences, but probably most importantly, what they expect next. And then all of this rolls up into our 360-degree app quality dashboard, which is that single pane of glass into the health of your applications. You can also deep dive into the status of your in-the-wild testing with Applause. So just really quickly, here's a snapshot of what the SDK, the user experience and engagement kind of looks like. So if you're a developer that needs to be able to test your app, you need to be able to push it out to your testers. So our mobile SDK supports over-the-air build distribution to ensure that your testers are running the latest version of your build, so they're not reporting back issues that have already been fixed. Your testers are obviously identifying bugs and issues, and occasionally the occasional crash. So all of that information is automatically reported back to your testers. And to your developers, literally with the shake of a person's iPhone, they can report back or even draw on top of the app, hey, this button actually causes my app to crash. Helps automate a lot of that feedback and provide that sort of real-time visibility. And then also in-app user feedback as well. So if it's a production environment, you've already launched the app, users can actually provide feedback straight to your developer team, which sort of closes that feedback loop. Then we also offer sentiment analysis. So for mobile applications through our web analytics tool called Applause Analytics, it crawls all the most popular mobile app stores, including Apple's App Store and Google Play. And it provides you with a quick dashboard in terms of how your apps are actually received by real-world users. So it can aggregate your Applause score, which is a 0 to 100 scale, and provide you that 100 being phenomenally great, 0 being just absolutely atrocious. But it can provide you with that context in terms of how your apps are perceived by real-world users, and it can actually score your app across 10 key attributes. So we took some of the smartest minds within Google and Microsoft, and we specifically tasked them with actually defining what mobile app quality means. And they actually started with, I think, a preliminary list of 143 Applause attributes. And over the span of the last 2 years, we've perfected that number down to the key 10. Attributes like content, elegance, usability, security, privacy, performance, stability, etc. And one of the cooler features is you can actually look into user sentiment analysis over the last 30 days. So if you just want a quick check into what users like or what they don't like, you can log into Applause Analytics. In fact, we're offering a free trial. So if you just go to applause.com, I'd encourage everyone to sign up and take a look at your apps or maybe even your competitors' apps. But it can provide you with all the raw data, the star reviews, the user reviews. You can download it. You can even plug it in through our REST API into your existing application lifecycle management systems or business intelligence systems. But I think one of the cooler features is this customizable app radar comparison. So by default, if you search for your application, if you're BMW, for example, and if you pull up your BMW apps, you can actually see not just how your app is received by real-world users across these 10 key attributes, but you can actually plot your competitors' apps layered on top of that. So instantaneously, it provides you with visibility into how your app compares against all the other apps within your App Store category, as well as any competitors you want to pull up in real time, all for free via this 90-day trial. And all of this feeds up into our 360-degree app quality dashboard. So this is that single pane of glass. You can do a deep dive into what usability bugs or functional bugs or load issues have been reported back, what the status of testing is, who these testers are all about. You can actually click in and understand what their professional experience is, what their testing environments are all about. And we also offer automation built into all functional testing as well, functional mobile testing. So the first thing we do when you provide your build with us is we uploaded it to, I think, 20 or 30 of the most popular mobile devices in the cloud. We install the app, we launch the app, we do a bit of a monkey test with something like 10,000 commands, and within 3 minutes, we're providing you with visibility into what steps passed and failed. So between automation and between manual penetration testing and exploratory testing and test case execution, we will find the bugs before your users do. So in summary, Applause is a company that has this global community of professional testers, more than 140,000 professional testers after the Test Hub acquisition and just announced within the last month. We help some of the world's smallest, startups, the 1 or 2 developer shops that hope to be or aspire to be digital disruptors, to some of the world's largest brands like Google, Amazon, Netflix, Walmart, Starbucks, and Deutsche Telekom, and so many more, deliver these rich user experiences in the eyes of your users. We help protect the world's largest brands. We help you augment and scale up your testing as needed, whether it's functional, usability, load, localization, or security. We help you provide that ultimate test coverage elasticity, and all under cost than if you were to do it through traditional outsourcing or by building out your internal lab or internal team of QA testers. And Deutsche Telekom, as I mentioned, is a strategic customer of ours. We partnered with them, I think, going back at least year, if not much longer than that. But they turn to us whenever they're thinking about launching new mobile application experiences or web application experiences. And they turn to us for functional testing and often for usability testing. And as you can see, there are some very complimentary quotes that have been impressed, not just the quality of the bugs, but also our ability to spin up test cycles very quickly, in under 24 hours. So in summary, I know we're really short on time, but modern apps, require a new recipe for success, especially as organizations have sped their delivery, as they've embraced not just waterfall, but agile and continuous development, as they've realized that, look, automation can get us only so far. We need to actually take our testing to the real world. We help organizations do just that. We also help organizations, internal organizations, raise the bar for app quality. So resetting expectations, quality as defined by your users. So gone are the days where these traditionally siloed roles within IT, be it QA or software testing or chief technology officer, chief marketing officer, all have varying degrees to which application quality is defined. And our 360-degree app quality is sort of an integrated, holistic view of app quality. We provide those modern tools for modern apps, as users might expect. So with that, I thank you very much. Again, I please urge you to have some leniency on the United States on Thursday, but thank you very much for hosting me, and happy to field any questions either here or offline. Thank you.